I don't know.
And by the way, I don't think this is specifically gendered, actually, because it happens with men as well. I think the reason why so many men are afraid to commit, or why so many younger men are opposed to marriage, it's not just as simple as the laws and the incentives. That's a part of it, but it's also what they have seen modeled, right? So if they've seen it, man, there are millions of people who legitimately have never seen like a healthy male-female relationship, and they project that outwards because they think that that is just the norm and the default. And in some communities, it absolutely is. That's the thing. So I can see how someone would grow up in that and be like, well, it didn't work out for my parents. It didn't work out for my friend's parents. It didn't work. So
and like the quality of wife is just like so much lower nowadays.
I think the quality of both is lower, to be real. I agree with you. But I think that there are millions and millions of men out there who are not even, you know, and some of this is from not lacking encouragement. I think I'll tell you what I think is one of the hardest challenges for young men right now. I think one of the hardest challenges for young men is being very clear on what your purpose is as a man. Because as we've said in the past, your role as a man was very simple. Whatever people think of gender roles, you can't really argue that in the past and still in many parts of the world, if you were growing up as a young man or a young woman, what your role is in society, in relationships and so on, it's clear cut, right? It's very clear. You're a man, you're going to be a provider, you're going to be a protector, you're going to be the one who is leading. You're a woman, you're going to have children, you're going to be the primary nurturer and caregiver, you're going to look after the home and so on. Yes, you can work a little. Yes, the man can do some of this, but those are your roles, right? That's it. Whereas now you've got, as I said, an ever increasing number and percentage of women who are, they've got money, they've got their careers, they've got their they've got their, they've got all that. The stuff that a man would typically historically provide or still provide in many places, it's like, well, they've got that, but they're still the same biological attraction triggers and imperatives. So I think for lots of young men, they're kind of like, and they're literally being told by women and by society and by the media, oh, we don't, we don't need men, whatever, single independent woman. And I think there's so many guys out there who are like, okay, well, what do I do? Do I turn into do I just take the macking route and I just try to get laid with as many women as possible? Do I what do I do? And I think that a lot of young men don't know the answer to that, and I think that's why from the Jordan Petersons to the Andrew Tates, you've seen this meteoric rise with young men, especially, who are looking for this meaning and purpose and guidance to find some type of direction.
Yeah. I think the girls are worse than the guys, like by a lot.
Tell me how.
Because men are still expected to protect and provide, and they still make more money than girls by and large, like overall.
Not younger, not in the 20s. I'm talking about young men. Let's say guys under 30. Guys under 30 are not out earning women under 30. Not anymore.
Yeah, I guess you could, if you want to make the money. I just feel like they're still expected to protect and provide.
They are.
But like women aren't young or pure. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's like worse on the girls because like the average age of first marriage in the UK is what, 31?
Something like that.
What?
Yeah. Well. This is what I'm not. I think we're saying the same thing. I'm saying this is the challenge for young men. It's like, where do you fit in? Right. It's like, okay, you can. All right, I could be a provider and a protector, but women are kind of saying that they don't want or need that. And also, I'm not. If I look at the guys who are doing well with women, they're not necessarily doing the providing and protecting thing. So what am I?
You don't think rich guys get chicks?
Of course, I'm not saying that. But most rich guys necessarily doing that traditional thing? They're not.
Oh no.
Right? Exactly. Right? So exactly, right? They're just running game. So these young men are like, oh, okay, well that's the solution. Right? I learned some game. And maybe I go to the gym and I make some type of money and I just try to attract a lot of females and have a lot of, spin all these plates and whatever it is. But I think that it's just it's confusing.
Yeah.
I think it's confusing for women.
Okay.
And it's confusing for men too, because it's men are okay, well, I think men are more reactionary because women sort of set the rules.
Yeah.
Women sort of set the rules because women are the gatekeepers of sex and intimacy.
Right.
And so men are always going to adapt and react to the females in the environment. Right. So that's why the way people date and have relationships around the world in different countries and communities is very, very different. Because if it's just like, oh, okay, the women are much more traditional and chaste and conservative, and they respond well to a guy who's just got a good character and can protect and provide, then men are like, oh, okay, for me to get a great woman, I need to do that thing and be that thing.
Yeah.
Whereas here or in the States, particularly in certain parts, it's just like, okay, well, they're not responding to that. So I now have to change my strategy. Maybe in my head it might be nice.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to have that, but that ain't working here. So I need to take this other route.
Yeah, I mean, I this is why ban birth control.
Ban birth control. Tell me more. Wow. Pearlie's go. Okay. Talk to me.
That's when everything started. Well, maybe with the boat. No, because birth control allowed girls to go for those type of guys before. There was more of a consequence. So you had to think twice before you sleep with the bad guy or that archetype, right? But now it's like, oh, there's a cop out, there's a bailout, so you don't have to think twice. And so that's why do you think we got all these baby mamas with the dad that's got 3 different kids and 3 different baby mamas? And then they're also bailed out because they're paid to be single mothers. That was next, right? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like all the world's problems started with birth control.
All the world's problems.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I mean, because it all started with the breakdown of the family. And if you look at that chart where it talks about the rate that women were taking oral contraceptives with the divorce rate, it's the same. I'm sure you've seen it. You're in the yeah. And so it's like
it's also the welfare policies. That's a big factor.
True. I don't think it was one thing, but I think that started it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm like, if we got rid of birth control, I feel like girls would be more selective with who they slept with. We'd see families come back again. And get rid of the single mom policies too. I'm not, and maybe the right to vote. I don't know.
we need dictator Pearl in the building. What do you think is the biggest challenge that young women face right now?
As many of you know, I was just banned on TikTok, and we are demonetized on a daily basis on this platform. If you want to help, please consider sending a super thanks below. Every donation helps, and it helps make what we do possible.